All right, let's see.
So what you is? So what you is?
What you is?
We thugs. So what you is?
I'm not a thug.
So you hear right there, perhaps you did. The one anti-white thug says, "If we thugs, what you is?" And don't you dare make fun of his education level or intelligence, because he's six figures, your wife's boss, and hitting on her every day at work, and implying that clearly because he's anti-white, and this is what an anti-white would do, that if she doesn't give him sexual gratification, then she is a racist. So no use making fun of his education. Thanks to the world we live in, because not enough people are listening to us and the work that we're doing.
I don't go to people's tables and harass them.
Okay, so he's just said right there, the white guy just said right there, I don't come to people's tables and harass them. This is a great look. Look at this guy with his gray hair. It looks like he's got blue eyes. Looks like a nice guy. Looks like a smart guy. I don't come to people's tables and harass them. So, come on. Where did this start?
Man,
I don't know.
Don't call us a thug, bro. Don't call.
And here this guy shows himself. Why would he show himself on this video? Because it's for one of these rap star videos. That's why. He wants the acclaim. He wants to be celebrated. He wants to be the face of it.
Call us a thug. I'm not a thug. Don't call me a thug.
I'm crazy right now. If I want, he just called us because we black. I know.
Don't call us thugs.
Okay, so there you heard the anti-whiteism right there. It's not their behavior that is the reason for why he called them thugs. Harassing them, him and his business dinner partner. It's not that. It's just because they're black. Anti-whiteism. If you don't have the psychological defense for this, then you fall right into the trap. And you see that this poor guy doesn't have the go-free method of argumentation and makes a very poor decision of a response to these people because they're setting him up. And if you are in a scenario like this, where they have harassed you, anti-whites have harassed you, and they come up, it is a setup. You always need to be looking. If you grow up inside or out, or in a city or right outside of a city, you learn pretty quickly that you always have to look the direction. You have to look for the hands or the direction that they're trying to get you to ignore, because that is where the crime is taking place. In this case, it's the setup to get a specific response that will give them the opportunity to take the action that was predetermined. And so you can see the first Lordy Sparky says here, absolutely. Fernald says here, absolutely. Never, ever turn your back on anti-whites. Never. I cannot tell you. For those who aren't even, who haven't even been in a fight or around a fight, there's been so many videos out there now. Remember the guy from, I guess he was one of the Proud Boys, poor soul. And he went out to one of these when they were burning the cities down, these anti-white terror troops. And he went out there, he was going to be a real tough. Forget about this idea that you get from movie physics. Hollywood physics is fake. One man does not go out and fight dozens. That's bullshit. Get that out of your head. That is Hollywood physics. And the guy goes out there and he's going to fight and he's going to put people in their place. And he walks with his chest out and he pushes a bunch of people off. And while he's like looking at them, the guy's in shape and all, while he's looking at them, there were actually a number of videos. So maybe you won't even remember the one I'm talking about that were like this. They back up. Then he turns and starts walking away. He gives them his back. And then one of these anti-whites runs up. In this case, it was a black anti-white. And cold cocks him in the face. The punch alone, I don't know I didn't follow up. Maybe somebody here knows how much damage the punch did to him. Could have very easily broken facial bones. But then you have the unconscious fall to the ground, to the pavement, which can kill you on impact. Nobody there to catch him. Never turn your back. Because that is when a predator, you're like eliciting from them the attack response. Never turn your back. This is a demonstration of idiotic bravado that comes out of watching too many goddamn Western movies. Where you're so tough, you're just going to turn your back and they can't do anything. The problem is that in the movies, it's all scripted. You, as you learn here with the Go Free method, that your subconscious mind has absorbed those scenarios as though they're real. So you think, obviously, all of these people think, all of these videos, and the people you've seen in person this happened to, that you could just turn your back because in the movies, and that's what your brain thinks, the brain you live by 90% of the time, thinks that's the real world, that you can turn your back on them. Never turn your back. You can walk, depending on where they are located, you might have to walk straight backwards. You might have to walk at an angle so that you keep your attention on them the entire time. There's nothing cowardly about keeping your eyes and attention on them 100% of the time. So that's one of the main things that we're seeing here, is that he turns his back. They can very easily get by this little obstacle. And then I don't think the obstacle exists further onto the right side of this video. Metalhead Forever talks about and it's a meme pathogen to call it a game because it diminishes it. These terroristic physical attacks on white people. Yes, I've seen it. Okay, you see this white guy in the blue top. I don't know. What do you think he is? Do you think he's like potentially a hero? Do you think he's trying to be, or is he a waiter? Or is he somebody else on the staff? Why is he able to be turned away? Has boots on? Is this in Texas or one of the surrounding states?
Don't call us thugs.
I don't know. He was homeless.
Still going. Don't call us thugs. This is the continuation of the harassment and the setup. If you're confronted with this, get away from it. Forget about your food. They'll make more food for you. If you are confronted with this, my recommendation is, as soon as the harassment begins, call 911. Don't wait. The police are going to take forever to get there. And you want them to get there in time to not bag you up. Call the police immediately. Call them immediately. Take your phone out, dial 911. Speak to them on the phone. Keep your attention on the anti-white thug bastards. And move away from them so you are out of arm's reach. Never let them get close enough to strike. Lottie says, don't tell them that you're calling the police. Yes, don't tell them. Just call 911. Just take your phone out, dial 911, emergency in the United States, whatever it is in your country, dial the emergency phone number, tell them on the phone exactly what's happening, and tell them on the phone that you fear for your life. If you have a firearm on you, you are in the United States, and you are armed, make sure you tell everyone. You don't have to be trembling like a leaf. You don't have to be wide-eyed and stuttering. You can be calm. You can be neutral. honestly, where you are honestly afraid for your life, make sure you tell everyone, including the anti-white thug bastards, that you are afraid for your life. Say it numerous times. If you have a firearm, make sure you say that you are afraid for your life. If you don't have a firearm, then just tell them at the emergency number that you fear for your life. Now, if you are watching this happen to someone else, call 911, call emergency. Tell them you fear for the lives of the people who are getting harassed and that law enforcement has to hurry. It's going to get bad. Do not just watch this unfold. Absolutely do not. Now, my recommendations here are going to be the realistic recommendations that are going to be able to work for everyone. Some of you will have read what I did in DC with that country boy who was getting surrounded. And that's not obviously what I'm going to recommend for folks, because you have to be in shape, you have to be able to fight, you have to be very fast, you have to be, etc. Call 911, call emergency, say you fear for the lives of yourself or the people that you are watching this happen to. Okay.
Yo, bro, I didn't drink your drink, so don't call me a thug.
Yeah.
And I'm recording you. I'm down.
I'm not. What does it make if you're recording me? What does that do? No.
This is he's totally ignorant of what's happening here. It's not his fault. I mean, it's generations away from when he grew up.
I'm just, I don't, yeah, who's a thug?
Bro? You racist.
Okay, there it is. I'm guessing the guy in the blue top is a potential hero, but then he, for whatever reason, he obeys the manager of this restaurant. And when he does, things get worse. The moment he walks away, does that give you a clue of what the problem is? Is the problem a black race problem, or is the problem a white race problem? So now the anti-whites here reveal that they are anti-white, indeed. And what have I told you about anti-whites? There isn't a murderer or rapist or thief or maimer out there who harms a white person in any of those ways or any others magnanimously. None of them say, oh, it was just a rape. It had nothing to do with everything that I've been taught about the white race and how they raped my people and they're raping my people and they're living off of my people. Every single victimization of a white person is done as to one degree or another, greater or less, as a consequence of anti-whiteism. Every single one. So here you have them like characters right out of the anti-white narrative. They've walked right up. If we thugs, what are you? And he's a racist. And then instead of saying what he could have or should have said, he responds poorly.
Maybe,